Welcome all. Today we would like to discuss the salient results from sliding wear behavior studies of silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites. So, as explained in the one of the earlier lectures, silicon carbide is a ceramic material having superior combination of properties, but the properties can be further improved by reinforcing with a other phase. Among the silicon carbide based ceramic composites, we can see the Young's modulus of the tungsten carbide is much higher than the silicon carbide, whereas the hardness is slightly lesser than the silicon carbide hardness. So, if you have the composite of silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite, we can expect a improvement in the modulus with a small change in the hardness. So, such a composite will be attractive for several tribological applications. However, our literature study indicates that such a material is not studied for the tribological behavior. So, particularly the silicon carbide has higher hardness and oxidation resistance, whereas tungsten carbide has better strength and proper fracture toughness. So, the composite of silicon carbide tungsten carbide is expected to exhibit improved properties in wear conditions. However, the processing and characterization of dense composites of silicon carbide tungsten carbide is a difficult task. So, very less studies are reported for the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites. Particularly dense silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites preparation is not yet reported. In addition to that, the tribological performance of dense silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites has not been investigated by any other researchers. So, in this context, the major objectives of the present study, which will be discussed in the today's class, are to study the tribological performance of the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites and to understand the effect of microstructure by changing the composition and as well as mechanical properties on the tribological behavior of these composites, particularly to elucidate the major wear mechanisms in each wear conditions by studying the wound surfaces and subsurfaces. So, these silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites were prepared at the University of Seoul with the support from Professor Youngwook Kim of University of Seoul. So, 4 composites are selected for the present study with varying tungsten carbide content from 0 to 58%. So, 0, 10, 30, 50 weight% tungsten carbide containing silicon carbide ceramic composites are prepared with beta silicon carbide with a small amount of alpha silicon carbide and aluminum oxide, yttrium oxide, calcium oxide as additive systems. So, these were prepared by hot pressing. So, before hot pressing, these batch powders were mixed and then dried and sieved, then followed by hot pressing at 1800 Celsius and 40 MPa for 1 hour in argon atmosphere. So, the sintered density of these materials are 98 to 99%. The microstructure of these sintered silicon carbide composites exhibit almost equiaxed grains of silicon carbide, a very less presence of any elongated grains. So, these almost equiaxed SiC grains size decrease from around 830 to 550 nanometers with increase in the tungsten carbide content from 0 to 58%. The fractured surfaces of these composites show mainly the intergranular fracture dominating when no tungsten carbide was added. It is simply pulling out of these SiC grains. When tungsten carbide is added, the transgranular fracture is being dominated. So, you can see the silicon carbide grains are fractured So, these difference in the mode of the fracture from intergranular to transgranular mode is going to help in the improvement of properties. Now, with respect to the tungsten carbide content, we can see the uniformly distributed tungsten carbide particles in a silicon carbide matrix, whereas you can also see certain agglomeration present when you have larger amount of tungsten carbide content. So, this SiC with 58% tungsten carbide composite showing agglomerations of these tungsten carbide particles. So, the mechanical properties are studied for these composites. The hardness increases up to 38% tungsten carbide, whereas it slightly decreased with 58% one, whereas fracture toughness improves from 5.85 MPa root meter to around 6.67 MPa root meter. So, if you look at the correlation between the microstructural characteristics and the mechanical properties, the grain size decreased from 835 nanometers to 578 nanometers with increase in tungsten carbide content. The interparticle distance also decreased with larger amount of tungsten carbide in these composites. So, it indicates that while sintering, the grain growth was restricted by the presence of larger amount of tungsten carbide content. So, it actually reflected in the properties, particularly hardness showed an increase in the for the silicon carbide 30% tungsten carbide composite, and the fracture toughness continuously increased from 5.85 to 6.67 MPa root meter. So, this fracture toughness improvement is very important for any structural applications. So, it is to be studied. So, after Vickers indentation, at the edges of these indents the cracks are propagated, and we can see here when no tungsten carbide was added, the deflections for the cracks are minimal, whereas the deflection or the bridging are actually improved when you have the tungsten carbide contents particles. So, these tungsten carbide particles, they improve the fracture toughness by the bridging of the crack or the deflection of these cracks. So, with this introduction of this material, the tribological performance is systematically studied in two different sliding wear conditions. For this, one unidirectional sliding wear study was done and other reciprocatory sliding study was done. So, in the unidirectional sliding wear study, the counter body influence on the tungsten carbide content were particularly studied, whereas in the reciprocatory sliding conditions the temperature of the sliding test and the tungsten carbide content were particularly studied. In addition to these sliding wear behavior in unidirectional, a major focus is given for the subsurface analysis to find out the origin of the material removal mechanisms. Basically, the major aim of this particular study is to elucidate the major material removal mechanisms, so that we can have an understanding on the very important relation of the composition of this composite, that is tungsten carbide content variation that reflects into microstructure and the microstructural influence on the mechanical properties and the tribological performance. So, the particular study is to understand the effect of the composition or microstructure on the mechanical and tribological behavior, and to identify the best composition for the superior wear resistance. So, let us go through the salient results obtained in unidirectional sliding wear studies. So, mainly three different counter bodies of silicon carbide ceramic and tungsten carbide cobalt, which is called a cermet, and a steel were used as a counter body, and three loads separately 5, 10, 20 Newton loads were applied with a combination of other parameters which were kept constant. For this, the ball on disc tribometer was used. So, the disc is the specimen which is the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite, whereas the ball is changed from silicon carbide to tungsten carbide cobalt or to steel, and the friction was measured and the wear was determined. So, the friction coefficient shows the average coefficient of friction actually decreases with against silicon carbide or this tungsten carbide cobalt ball, whereas against steel it actually increases because the surface is actually changed at the contact. So, there is a friction behavioral change. Let us understand it further. When the wear volume was measured, the wear volume was measured as I explained in the previous class. The profilometry was used to read the surface profiles in a 2-dimensional way, and over a particular over a slide distance this was integrated and the wear volume was determined. So, you can see the wear volume of these composites having 0, 10, 38% tungsten carbide content. So, against silicon carbide, against tungsten carbide, that is tungsten carbide cobalt, and then against steel. So, the wear volume decreased with tungsten carbide content for any counter body, for any composite against any counter body, whereas the lowest wear was observed with the silicon carbide containing 50% tungsten carbide. So, at a particular load the wear volume decreased with tungsten carbide increase, and the lowest wear was obtained with the SW50 composite. Regarding the effect of the counter body, the wear volume was highest for the composites worn against the silicon carbide ball, whereas the wear volume was the lowest for the composites worn against the steel ball. So, tungsten carbide cobalt data is in between. So, the behavior can be understood by studying the worn surfaces of these composites. So, you can see here as the tungsten carbide content actually increases, you can see the mechanical fracture is more. Against silicon carbide and tungsten carbide and the steel, there is a change in the major mechanism of the material removal, particularly when these composites were worn for against the silicon carbide, tungsten carbide cobalt, silicon carbide or tungsten carbide cobalt, you can see the signatures of the mechanical fracture. You can see the grain pull out which happens by the cracking. So, when the grains are pulled out, so they get fractured. That these white particles are tungsten carbide removed from the surface. But if you look at the composites worn against tungsten carbide cobalt, with the lower content of tungsten carbide containing composite, they show mainly the abrasion. But as the tungsten carbide content is increased, you can see the presence of particular layer. This layer dominantly covers the surface, particularly when you have the highest tungsten carbide content. But when you see the composite worn surfaces which were worn against steel, again they show the debris and then fracture and the removal of these tungsten carbide particles. So, there is a change from the mechanical fracture to tribochemistry when there is a change in the tungsten carbide content or there is a change in the counter body. So, to summarize the wear mechanisms against different counter bodies as a function of tungsten carbide content, the abrasion and polishing is observed when you do not have any tungsten carbide content and worn against the steel. So, when the tungsten carbide content is increased, you have adhered debris and the debris are entrapped inside the grooves, and against tungsten carbide cobalt, this embedded debris and abrasion which becomes severe abrasion when tungsten carbide content is increased, but as the tungsten carbide content is further increased to 30 or 58%, you can see there is a compacted layer which adheres on the surface. Against silicon carbide, again there is only grain pull out and fracture, only change in the fracture is observed with increase in the tungsten carbide. So, with an increase in the tungsten carbide content, the fracture is reduced and it becomes more polished and reduced pull out. To understand the actual mechanisms, we need to also study the counter body wound surfaces. So, you can see the counter body which is a steel. So, the impression is a circular impression after the wear. The size of the wear scar on the ball decrease with the increase in the tungsten carbide content in the silicon carbide ceramic disc. So, dominantly there is a mechanical wear and abrasion on the silicon carbide ball, whereas oxide layer formation as well as the polishing is observed against tungsten carbide or on the balls of tungsten carbide or the steel. So, the ball surface analysis show the presence of the tribochemistry on the tungsten carbide cobalt balls or the steel balls, whereas the silicon carbide balls, they do not show any tribochemistry. It is simply the fracture, or you can see the abrasion and then removal of this material by fracture. So, in order to understand the chemistry difference on the surface one against different counter bodies, the Raman analysis was done, and the Raman analysis shows different products formed as a debris. So, the debris against the silicon carbide, you can see the oxides of this silicon carbide, the oxides of silicon and tungsten oxide, tungsten. So, generally when the harder counter body is sliding over the disc surface because of the harder indenting points. So, the material is removed and then the material is subjected to oxidation in a normal ambient conditions of sliding. So, you can see certain oxides also forming against tungsten carbide cobalt. Also you can see the tungsten oxide, silicon oxide and the cobalt tungsten oxide debris. And against steel, in addition to this oxides, we also see certain oxides of iron and iron tungsten oxide. So, it actually indicates there is a chemistry difference in the debris formed when these composites were subjected to sliding against different counter body. The friction is more when these were worn against steel because of the presence of the harder oxides of this iron or iron tungsten oxide, and these iron tungsten oxide are not present in the other conditions. So, you do not have such an increase in the friction. So, summarizing the silicon carbide ceramics when you do not have any tungsten carbide. So, they just fracture by intergranular fracture, intergranular mode. So, this is actually same against silicon carbide or tungsten carbide cobalt or steel ball. So, the larger grains came out as a debris, and when the silicon carbide containing some tungsten carbide particles, the composite shows a decrease in the size of the grain. So, the debris also will be smaller in the size. So, the fracture also we observed changed dominantly from the intergranular to transgranular when you have the tungsten carbide particles in a silicon carbide ceramics. Now, if you see the effect of the counter body against tungsten carbide cobalt ball, these composite again fractured by the transgranular mode way, but the size of the debris because of the finer sign of the debris and also with the increase in tungsten carbide content in the composite, particularly this SW50 or SW30, you can see these smaller debris with a larger surface area are more prone to connect and then form a protective oxide layer like this. So, you get a decrease in the wear. In case of the steel ball, these composites again they fractured by the transgranular mode, and the smaller size of debris smaller sized debris, they connect each other and form a layer, and the layer is actually observed on the ball surface. So, the layer is observed either on the ball surface of the steel or on the disc which was worn against the tungsten carbide cobalt. They show certain layers, whereas such a layer is not observed when these composites were worn against silicon carbide. Against silicon carbide, it is purely the fracture. The material is removed only by the mechanical fracture and then the resultant grain pull out. So, the major results from the unidirectional sliding wear study are like this. The coefficient of friction depends on the counterpart materials irrespective of their ball hardness. With increase in tungsten carbide content in silicon carbide ceramics, the coefficient of friction against steel ball increases, whereas it decreased for other silicon carbide or tungsten carbide cobalt ball. Wear volume decreased with increase in tungsten carbide content, and the silicon carbide 58% tungsten carbide composite exhibited minimum wear against any counterbody. Regarding the major mechanism of material removal, against silicon carbide ball, the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites are worn by purely mechanical fracture with micro cracking, whereas tribochemical wear is dominating for the composites worn against tungsten carbide cobalt or the steel ball. So, there is a difference in the mechanism of material removal. So, there is a difference in the friction and the wear. So, this actually indicated very important information that when the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites were subjected to different counterbodies, we have a different wear mechanism dominating. So, that results into the performance difference. Amongst the three counterbodies, the silicon carbide counterbody showed when we use the silicon carbide counterbody, purely mechanical fracture is dominating. So, it is very important to understand the origin of such a mechanical fracture. So, we selected these silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites worn against silicon carbide ball only, where there is a purely dominantly mechanical fracture for further studies of the subsurface analysis. The subsurface analysis study is very important to identify the origin of such a fracture. So, we purposefully not taken these silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites sliding wear studies against the tungsten carbide and steel ball, where there was a type tribochemistry. So, these subsurface analysis study were possible with the support from Professor Amartya Mukhopadhyay of IIT Bombay. So, we can see here the subsurface analysis was done by using a combination of a focused ion beam with TEM analysis. Sample was cut at an angle of 35 degree using a focused ion beam to observe the subsurface. So, the unworn regions of the sample, they do not show any deformation, whether it is a silicon carbide without having any tungsten carbide or with having any tungsten carbide. There is no signature for any deformation, whereas when these composites were worn, you can see lot of difference in the subsurface regions. So, when it is only silicon carbide, you can see this damaged zone is around 1 micron meter. In case of composite, there is only 300 nanometers. So, there is a resistance against the damage at the subsurface when you go for the composite. In addition to that, we can also see several cracking signatures here. So, generally these ceramics show median and lateral cracks beneath the worn surfaces. It actually follows again the classical linear fracture mechanics, when the hard and sharper contact slides over a surface, particularly the brittle surface, the median or lateral cracks are generally found. But if you can see this difference between the subsurface images of these silicon carbide ceramic and silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite, the tungsten carbide particles restricted the crack propagation by the crack bridging, right. So, this essentially show there is a benefit when you go for a composite right from restricting the crack propagation. So, this can be illustrated schematically. The upper region generally have a plastically deformed region, and just below that you have a fracture region. So, the fracture region is characterized by this cracking, whether it is median or the lateral cracking. When you have a tungsten carbide particles, these particles result into crack bridging or the crack deflection that improves the resistance against the fracture. So, you get a lesser wear also. So, if you can recall, these silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite shown wear resistance than the silicon carbide ceramic because of this resistance against the crack propagation. To understand the origin of such behavior, the TEM analysis was done on the deformed region of the selected composite. A TEM lamella was made from the wound region using the FIB. So, this TEM sample was subjected to further investigation. So, this shows the silicon carbide grains and then tungsten carbide particles. And the high resolution TEM analysis show the interface does not have any amorphous region. So, the tungsten carbide as well as the silicon carbide grains are very strongly bonded. So, these strong bonding resulted into the domination of a transgranular fracture, which we already saw in the fracture surfaces of this composite. The intergranular fracture mode was dominant when there was no tungsten carbide particle. In case of composite having a tungsten carbide particles, you have dominantly transgranular fracture. Further, the selected area diffraction analysis also indicate the crystalline arrangement of the silicon carbide or these tungsten carbide particles. In addition to that, these wound regions, the regions underneath the wound surfaces, they show the signatures of these cracks as well as the dislocations. In addition to these dislocations and cracks, we can also see lot of twins. The SIED pattern also indicate the presence of the twins. So, the deformation is possible just below the wound region in terms of the dislocations as well as the twins. As we know, the silicon carbide ceramics have very less number of slip systems. It is quite possible the deformation happens by the formation of these twins. The shape of these twins indicates the lengths, which indicate the deformation induced twins. So, you can see on the grains of the silicon carbide, the cracks and the dislocations are present, whereas the dislocations do not present in the tungsten carbide or at the interface of this tungsten carbide or silicon carbide. So, concluding the subsurface study results, the deformation zones underneath the wound surface are larger for monolithic silicon carbide as compared to silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite. There are more or less 3 times more for the silicon carbide ceramics as compared to silicon carbide 50% tungsten carbide composite. Micro cracks are observed below the worn region till 2 micron meter depth for monolithic silicon carbide ceramics. By contrast, the tungsten carbide grains are observed to bridge the cracks in case of silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite. The deformation zone underneath the worn region is comprised of network of extensive dislocations and twins. So, the stresses built at the tips of these dislocations or twins generate the micro cracks. So, you see lot of micro cracks in silicon carbide grains, whereas no deformation substructure is observed in the tungsten carbide grains, which also blocked the dislocations or twins at the interface. Therefore, the extent of deformation is limited to almost 1/3 what we observed here in case of the composite. So, this particular study is very important in the sense that preparation of such sample for TM analysis, the sample must be taken from the region underneath the worn surface. So, for that FIB was used and then TM analysis was done carefully, which revealed these informations about the deformation zones, the cracking as well as the beneficial effect of the tungsten carbide particles in the silicon carbide ceramics. So, the particular study reveals the presence of dislocations or twins in the silicon carbide grains in deformation zone beneath the worn region. The tungsten carbide particles in the composite in turn suppress the wear damage by subduing the subsurface micro cracking. So, which otherwise is found to be very extensive, mainly because of the built up of stresses at the tips of these dislocations or twins at this in the silicon carbide grains. So, these stresses were developed because of the interactive sliding. So, the sliding induced stresses are responsible for the cracking. The cracking can be minimized when you use the tungsten carbide particles. That means, a composite approach is very much beneficial in suppressing the wear damage by subduing the subsurface micro cracking. Let us go to the last part of this lecture, the reciprocatory sliding wear studies. In order to understand the effect of the sliding mode from unidirectional to reciprocatory, we used a reciprocatory sliding wear test apparatus, where the ball was used as silicon carbide only and the load we changed from 6 to 19 Newton. These loads were selected to maintain the similar levels of Hertzian stresses which were used in the unidirectional sliding test. So, these were done in a moderate humid conditions at two different temperatures, the room as well as room temperature and 500 Celsius. So, the major aim of this study is to understand the effect of the tungsten carbide content as well as the temperature of the testing on the reciprocatory sliding wear behavior of the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites. Now, you see the wear volume of the composites worn at room temperature. So, as the tungsten carbide is introduced in the silicon carbide ceramics, the wear was substantially decreased. That means, the reciprocatory sliding which induces the fatigue induced cracks, those are effectively prevented by the tungsten carbide particles. This study actually was selected to understand the behavior of these composites in a reciprocatory sliding. In reciprocatory sliding, we have a difference in the contact time of this debris. So, it will actually affect the properties or the performance. So, if you can see the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites after sliding in a reciprocatory mode at room temperature, the surfaces were showing the micro cracks and then this pull out of this tungsten carbide particles, but with increase in the tungsten carbide content actually the fracture was minimum reduced. The debris analysis particularly show the presence of a cylindrical shaped debris. So, the EDN analysis shows these are oxides of the silicon. So, you can see this as the tungsten carbide content increased, you get more or more finer debris and then as well as the presence of the cylindrical shaped debris. So, this information is very important to analyze the unidirectional reciprocatory sliding wear test results. You can see in case of silicon carbide ceramics without having tungsten carbide, the wear rate was more or less same whether it is a unidirectional reciprocatory, because and as the tungsten carbide content is increased, you get a reduction in the wear rate in the reciprocatory sliding wear test. That indicates the effect of the longer contact time for the finer debris particle. So, these finer size debris will connect each other and then tend to form a cylindrical debris. Those cylindrical debris generally facilitates easy sliding, and the cylindrical debris generally forms only when there is a viscous surface. This viscous surface is like the viscous surface layer is because of the interaction with the silicon oxide present on the silicon carbide particles or present due to these wear test. So, this silicon oxide reacts with the moisture and then forms a silicon oxyhydride. The silicon oxyhydride being these particles, they connect each other and then form a cylindrical debris from the. So, the viscous surface is removed from the composite and then the debris are connected to each other and then form a cylindrical shape. So, there is a tribochemistry when the sliding test mode was changed from unidirectional to reciprocatory. In the unidirectional it is a mechanical fracture only, whereas in reciprocatory there is a signature of the tribochemistry involved in that. So, if you look at the wear results obtained for these composites tested in unidirectional and reciprocatory sliding conditions. So, the effect of the longer contact time for the finer size debris that lead to this tribochemistry and the resultant wear. So, you get a decrease in the wear. When comparing the results obtained in a reciprocatory sliding conditions at different temperatures of room temperature and 500 degree Celsius, you can see that silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites always show higher wear when worn in the high elevated temperatures compared to those at the room temperature. In silicon carbide ceramics, the difference is very much less. So, it is believed that stress concentrations at the defect sites, those are attributed for the increased wear. Also at the higher temperatures the materials soften, so the strength is reduced, so you get a more amount of material removed from the surface. But if you look at the SW30 and SW50, the stress concentrations at the defect sites of agglomerates of tungsten carbide particles, which we saw in the previous slide, agglomerates are dominantly present in the composite with a larger amount of tungsten carbide content. So, these agglomerates result into increased stress concentrations. So, the stress concentrations at the defect sites of these agglomerates of tungsten carbide particles, particularly in the SW50 composite, are believed to be further enhanced with thermal stresses generated at the interface of these matrix and particle. So, that leads to easy removal of the material. So, you get a very larger wear volume when the tungsten carbide was around 50%. The silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite surfaces after reciprocatory sliding at room temperature and high temperature of 500 Celsius can see there is a difference in the mechanism. The fracture is increased when the testing was done at higher temperatures, the fracture is increased. So, at a room temperature, as the tungsten carbide content is increased, we can see certain tribochemical layer formations and the removal, whereas such a tribochemical layer formations are not found in case of those composites worn at high temperatures. So, the debris also show there is no presence of any cylindrical shaped debris. So, these are all fractured grains and no signatures of any tribochemistry. We also validated the experimentally measured wear volume with the wear volume determined using a lateral crack model. So, since fracture dominated for the silicon carbide tungsten carbide at higher temperatures, so experimentally measured wear volume is in linear relation with the wear volume determined using the lateral crack model. But at room temperature, because the tribochemistry was dominated, no such linear relation is observed. So, this also indicates the mechanical fracture at higher temperatures, whereas tribochemical wear at lower temperature, room temperatures. Concluding these results from the reciprocated sliding wear studies, increased tungsten carbide content resulted in reduction in the friction and wear in ambient reciprocated sliding conditions with the generation of cylindrical debris. So, cylindrical debris formation is observed only in the ambient conditions. The silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite is beneficial in reducing the wear damage in reciprocated sliding test conditions as compared to the unidirectional sliding test conditions. This particular observation is attributed to the domination of retained tribochemistry induced wear debris. Because of the longer time for the debris in a contact, so the tribochemistry induced wear is much retained. So, in the reciprocated sliding conditions, so it is much beneficial. The formation of this cylindrical debris resulted in the lesser friction and wear for the composites in the ambient sliding conditions, whereas dry and loose debris generated from the elevated temperature sliding conditions that resulted in the high friction and the wear. So, high thermal stress concentration at the defect sites of the agglomerates of tungsten carbide particles are believed to lead to higher wear when there is a larger amount of tungsten carbide content. So, this particular study indicates the influence of the sliding mode, the influence of the tungsten carbide content in the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite and the influence of the temperature. When the sliding mode was changed, the reciprocated sliding actually gave more tribochemistry induced wear, and the cylindrical debris are obtained in the ambient reciprocatory sliding condition, and that resulted in the less friction and the wear, whereas dominantly mechanical fracture is observed in those reciprocatory sliding wear test done at elevated temperature. So, the higher friction and wear was observed. With respect to tungsten carbide content, always the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite is beneficial in reducing the wear damage in reciprocatory sliding conditions, as the fatigue induced crack is deflected or bridged. So, the removal of the material by fracture is reduced. So, you got a benefit in the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite. So, finally summarizing, we have gone through the salient results obtained in the tribological study at different length scales for the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites. So, we found wear was decreased when tungsten carbide content is increased in a unidirectional sliding conditions as well as the reciprocatory sliding conditions, whereas mechanical fracture is found against silicon carbide ceramic ball in a unidirectional sliding conditions tribochemical wear dominates against tungsten carbide, cobalt or the steel ball. So, in case of reciprocatory sliding conditions which were done in silicon carbide against silicon carbide ball only. So, they again showed a enhanced tribochemistry. So, you can see the mechanical fracture against silicon carbide in a unidirectional conditions, they actually changed to an tribochemical induced wear at room temperature for these composites, whereas at higher temperatures again the mechanical fracture is dominant. So, in order to understand the origin of material removal, we selected a composite silicon carbide tungsten carbide composites for the study in subsurface regions. We selected the composites worn against the silicon carbide only. The reason again, because it is only the mechanical fracture, there is no tribochemical layer. So, it is easy to understand the origin of the material removal from the beneath the region, one region. So, subsurface regions, subsurface study indicate the plastically deformed region as well as the cracked region, and presence of the tungsten carbide always is beneficial in reducing the wear by crack bridging and crack deflection, so that the fracture is reduced, the wear is reduced. So, beneath the worn region, the silicon carbide tungsten carbide composite show lesser propagation or reduced propagation of the cracks because of the tungsten carbide particles present. Further analysis by TEM shows the origin of the wear occurs by the cracking. The cracking is possible by the stresses induced by the sliding at the tips of those deformation signatures like dislocations or the twins. So, these cracks will propagate further and lead to material removal. When a tungsten carbide particle is present at the interface, all these cracks are actually stopped, or the deformation signatures are not present at the interface or inside the tungsten carbide particles. So, this particular study is taken to understand the tribological behavior of these composites at different length scales, either from the worn surface to underneath the worn surface. Particularly underneath the worn surface, the study was done to identify the origin of the wear. So, thank you, we will continue this in the next lecture.